All right, y'all, this Big Rich. We're going to get into it today. Today we're going to talk about an issue that happened here in America. We're going to get into we're going to talk about EVs, electric vehicles. There's so much misinformation out there, and that's designed by the oil companies to keep you from spending all that money that you would normally spend on gas. I'm going to give you a good example. I had a Ram truck, 1500 with a Hemi, big horn, black on black, all that. I was spending $3,000 every 2 months in gas, and that's traveling from where I live to Oakland, right? And back. So it was roughly almost $60 a day, 7 days a week, but it came out to a lot of money I was spending. So one day I was in LA. I went and I was on vacation, and I ended up buying an electric car, which was a Tesla. The owner is on some racist shit. I ain't with that shit. But that was years before that even happened, with that Trump shit. But I come to find out that the car that I bought was a 2020, and it was literally better than any new car that's out there right now. You don't even need expensive. You don't need to spend $100,000 on this vehicle, on any EV, unless that's what you want. Because most of these cars, most EVs are good work cars. That's it. That's what they're good for. Now, if you got one with a huge battery, which is probably going to cost you over $100,000 or whatever, or close to 100, if you got a huge battery, that'd be a good vacation car. Because most time you're only going to stop maybe 1 or 2 times going to LA, if you're in California. And you're going to have to stop anyway to use the bathroom and get something to eat. So Tesla's really good at their infrastructure. Most electric car companies don't have the infrastructure. You know what I'm saying? And that's what makes those cars. Now, I think Rivian is one that's like building up their infrastructure, but Tesla already have their infrastructure in place, and they're everywhere. Trust me when I tell you that. They got Tesla things in somebody's backyard. Real talk. So the only mistake that Elon made is that when instead of him redesigning the car completely, because the car is kind of old now, the Model 3. He just made the car better on the inside, but he didn't really. You got to redesign these cars every 5 years. You know what I mean? If you want to keep your customer base. If not, everybody be riding around the same looking car. You know what I mean? Now, that's not a big problem, but if you want to make more sales, you got to innovate, and you got to, switch up the inside a little bit. You know what I mean? I love the big screen that's in there. Keep that, but you could change it up a little bit, make it look more, updated. You know what I'm saying? And in the inside, you can add buttons instead of trying to not have buttons. Add a few more buttons. You know what I mean? To make it easier. You know what I'm saying? To drive these cars. Now, we get used to them when we drive these cars, but instead of doing that, just take a little bit of time and add a button that goes there so we don't have to always go on the screen to look for stuff. That's my only knock on that. And it seems like they're trying to make the Model 3s and the Model S's look like the Cybertruck. Don't do that. Cybertruck is an ugly truck, okay? No matter how you look. We don't want these cars looking like the Cybertruck, okay? They got some very renders out there online, but Tesla never pay attention to them. I don't know why. They got some of the baddest renders that's on the planet online of the new cars that, you'll watch a video, and the guy that did the render, he was just trying to get views, but they got some awesome cars that they have that's renders. If they just take one of them, they win it. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is that sometimes you could be too smart and be dumb at the same time. And I look at that as Elon, how he killed his own brand, with the Hitler salute and all the stuff that he was doing. It really didn't make sense, because it's like, here it is, you trying to build a brand, and at the same time, you trying to tear it down at the same time. You're killing your own fan base. You have people in California buying your cars. You have all these millions and millions of people in California buying your cars. You don't have people in Texas buying your cars. You go back south, you don't see Teslas. You know what I mean? You killed your own fan base by being racist. So, what I'm saying to you is, if you're going to get one of these cars, just don't spend a lot of money on them. At the minimum, between $20,000 to $30,000. That's it. If you're buying a Tesla, if you're buying an electric car, because they're only good, and buy them used. Don't buy no new one, because they're only good for getting back and forth to work. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you want to spend some money, you can spend some money, because those have big batteries. They got like over 400 miles. But if you're just trying to get to work, most people only drive 30, 40 miles to work. You know what I mean? These are perfect. You know what I mean? The technology in it is still awesome, because Teslas do updates every 2 days. And everything is beautiful. You know, I use my car to drive home every night with the auto drive. It works perfect. Everything is beautiful. You know what I mean? No maintenance. So you're really missing out by believing the hype. And when you drive a gas car, and then you try to drive an electric, like a Tesla or something like that, you're going to look at that gas car like it's ancient technology from 50 years ago. You know, no matter what kind of gas car you get, it's all the same. You stopping at the gas. If you got one with a big engine in it, you stopping at the gas station, you're going to put in about $80, $90 on the fill up. You know what I mean? That V8 going to cost some money. So what I'm saying to you is that don't spend a lot of money on them. Get the older ones. Don't get no new ones. You don't need to get a new one, because these cars right here, like I say, my car 5 years old, getting on to be 6 years old, and it's still better than damn near 70% of the cars that's out there. That's real talk, man. Subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and we're going to talk about it. Pure mind, baby.